to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Shalom to the men in this truth. Shalom to the women in this truth. Shalom to the children in this truth. And those that are not yet out there, right? All praises to the Most High, man. Right now, Day of Atonement, right? Kind of on my spirit to read through the book of Numbers. Just going to be a read through. I may add precepts here and there, but even in this time, man, you can't, you don't just want to, what's the word, man? Just sit around, man, and just, just sleep it off. You know what I'm saying? You don't just want to, let me just sleep it off, right? I just sleep off this day, right? You want to actually really be, going through the scriptures, man. You really want to be getting into the scriptures, right? So I'm going to do a read through, of the book of Numbers, right? And yeah, do a read through the book of Numbers, but I'll get a few precepts before. Right, this is Romans chapter 13, and I may highlight precepts of it as well. I may highlight precepts every now and then, right? Because hey, you need to highlight stuff, man. Right? Matt can hear a precept, you write it down. Matt can hear this and you write that down. Hey, really, that's what you should be doing. Right? Some people with Day of Atonement, they just sat like this. Right? They sat down like this and they're doing this and right, and they're saying, oh, and they're just staring at a big analog clock and they're just saying, okay, yeah, and they're doing that, right, and they're just waiting for the time to go past, man. Right? They're just there like this and staring at the time, watching each hand go round. Like, really, get in your Bible, man. It's the best time to get in your Bible, praying, right? Evidently, that's what you should be doing, man. Right? So, real quickly, this is Romans chapter 11, and I'll start at verse Romans 13 and verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So hey, man, you should be really, you believe in the Bible, man. It shouldn't be a time of just sleep, man. You should be awakened out of sleep, because the Lord hasn't laid you to rest yet, man, in the sense of falling asleep, right? You should be actually occupying, right? And if you're occupying, that means what you're doing. All praises if you pray every day, right? If you're occupying, that means what, man? You're actually reading the scriptures. You're going through the word, right? You're not just winging it, right? You have to be in that spirit of occupying, man. Right? That's what the Lord said. The Lord said, occupy. That might be in the book of Luke, right? See that? The book of Luke, chapter 19, and Luke 19 and verse 13. And really, that's a commandment, right? About when the Lord says something, right? And just on that fact as well, the law isn't just the first 5 books, right? The law isn't just the first five books. So you can't use because it's not in the law, it means I don't have to do it. That's really a reprobate mind, right? You have some things that are wisdom, but entirely the whole thing really is the law, because that's how, and all their understanding that we get outside of the Torah is coming from the foundation of the law. So in essence, outside of the Torah, there is other laws too that just expound on what is written. right? But this is the book of Luke, chapter 19, and I'll start with verse 13. It says, and he called his 10 servants, right? He called his 10 servants and delivered unto them £10, and said unto them, occupy till I come. So the Lord said, hey, occupy, meaning what? Hey, get down, man, get busy, right? Get busy, man. You can't be doing nothing with what the Lord has given you. The Lord has given you the capability of doing that. Hey, occupy, man, right? You should really be occupying. You shouldn't be, you know, just doing nothing, man. Right? It says in verse 14, but his citizens hated him and sent a message after him saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. So some people, they're off, man. They're like, nah, the Bible can't reign over me. The Bible can't be the thing that I got to live my life by. They're saying no. They're saying they don't want to hear that. Right? They don't like the sound of the trumpet that's being blown in their direction. They don't like hearing the words of God. They don't like atonement. They don't like accountability. They don't like the woman that they picked. So they go to other things because they don't want to be accountable. If you're hey, occupy till I come. So hold it down. You gotta deal with it. Oh no, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. And you got to the Lord said you got to deal with it. Right? It says verse 15, and it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So really in this time, man, you want to be in that spirit of gaining more, right? And this is in a spiritual sense. You want to gain more, right? You don't want to be in the truth and you haven't developed, man. You haven't developed. You haven't grown that bit more, man. You just are the same guy you was when you came in, right? You want to really push yourself to gain them more, right? Don't just want to be some damn background guy, right? You're not involved. You're just watching. You're just watching the lives. You're watching the lives, right? Uh, um you don't come outside. You don't come outside. You don't come to camp. You're just doing whatever you want to do. But the Lord said, hey, occupy till I come, man. So you have to really be occupying, right? And the Lord wants to see what it is you've done with the talent that He's given you, right? Obviously, the talent, right? He's saying, oh, it's double fold. The talent could be in the, the literal sense of money, because a talent, right? A talent in the Bible, right, really is currency, right? We're going to read it off of here. It says, in the Bible, talent was an ancient unit of weight and currency, representing a significant sum of money, equivalent to about 6,000 denarii, or a day's wage for a laborer, right? And some of the Most High gave people talents, right? Even in that sense, literal people, the Most High gave them spiritual talents, man, right? Like it says, he gave, I think maybe in Ephesians, right? See that? Yeah, can't in Ephesians, right? Place of the Most High. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and I'll start from verse 10. It says, he that descended into the same, so like it is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. So it says, verse 11, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. So there's obviously people, that was set up and blessed with those talents, right? Just like today, man, you have people that are able to teach properly, right? Or evangelize or hold camp, whatever position it is they hold, they're able to do that. So with the talent you have, don't be a reprobate. Don't be, oh, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Hey, you should have discernment, man. Initiative. You should be able to do that. Oh, well, I don't know. And I'm thinking about it. And maybe I'll do it in 1 year's time. And then another year's time. And then another year's. And you just keep on procrastinating, man. So you're not really doing it. You're just saying it. You're just saying it, man. Right? So I read it on in Luke 19 and 16. Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds. So that shows you the conversion, man, of what the talent that was given to him, what he done with it. Did he waste it? Oh, he didn't do nothing with it. He done something. He flipped it, man. You gotta have that Joseph spirit, right? Joseph, he down finessed the whole of Egypt, right? He finessed the whole of Egypt, man, from the Egyptians, just so our forefathers could dwell in a sustainable and excellent land, right? It says, verse 17, and he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, see that, have thou authority over 10 cities. So see, that's the responsibility that the Most High will give you, right? He said, look, you've been faithful, because that's really what they done, man, right? You've been faithful, and you flipped that cash, right? And you made something out of it, right? It's not, you didn't do nothing with it. Oh yeah, you just done nothing. You flipped that money, man, right? That's what literally has your faith is the thing that's triggered that, man, right? So all praise to the Most High. Faith is the thing that's triggered that, man, right? So we're gonna read on, right? So that because of his faith, he's flipped that £1, right? Or that rather, that £1 that he was given really is that talent, and he's done what with it, man? He's now a good servant, and he's been given authority over 10 cities, right? Verse 18. So Luke 19 and 18. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 5 pounds, right? And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. Right? He kept it laid up in a napkin. He said, oh yeah. Remember what you had? Yeah, here it is. Right? Verse 21. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down. Thou laidest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. And he saith unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Right? So, how shy? Right? Yahweh Bar Shimmy Shai. He's an austere man. Like it says in Exodus 15 and 3, he's a man of war. So him being an austere man, flip that, man. Do something with that. Right? You just sat back and watched all the other guys do something with it. You know what? I'm gonna keep mine, because that's wisdom. Right? It says, verse 23, wherefore then gave us not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury. Well, obviously with usury meaning what's the word, man? If you have usury, it means you've got gain. You've obviously, let's say you've got that £1 plus whatever else it is you've made off of that profit, right? With usury. So you basically should have done something with this. I should have had that £1 plus whatever else, you know, was a gain from that, man, right? Profit. It says, verse 24, and he said unto them, so like, yeah, Luke 19 and 24, and he said unto them that stood by, take from him the £1, and give it to him that have £10. And they said unto him, Lord, he have £10. So they took, they said, yo, give me that, and he kind of snatched it off him, man. And he's pretty confounded. What are we doing? What are we doing? Yahushua, are you gonna stop them? Right? He said, reading on verse 26, for I say unto you, that unto every one which have shall be given, and from him that have not, even that he have shall be taken away from him. So, hey man, you have to make do with what you have, right? Some people, they have the ability to congregate and or do that. Do they do it? No, they don't. They have the ability to hold camp. Do they do it? No, they don't. They have the ability to call each other or speak to each other. Do they do it? No, they don't. Right? They just make excuses. Right? This is Luke 19 verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. See that? And that's judgment. Right? You don't want to follow Yahweh Shai, right? And allow him to be the author. Hey, once I say you bring them here, put them down, man, like a dog. Put them down and slay them before me. That's basically what he said, right? You know, he kind of told them, yeah, look, you don't want me to reign over you? Hey, well, all right, this is for you. Watch this, right? Watch this. And that's what the Lord does, right? So, hey, all praises to the Most High, right? Let's get another one, right? Because you can't have that mindset of fainting, right, in a day of adversity, right? You have to learn how to deal with things, man. You have to learn really how to deal with things, man. You can't just be, oh, you know, no, just forget it, just forget it. You have to learn how to deal with things, man, and keep it moving, right? That's what you have to learn, right? But this is the book of Proverbs chapter 26, verse 13. It says, the slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets, right? So, as the door turneth upon his hinges, so doeth the slothful man upon his bed. So the slothful man, he's not thinking about nothing, man, right? He's just making excuses to his folly, right? Making excuses because he don't want to be accountable. Making excuses because I feel like this is what it should be. And because it's not going in my favor, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's a man that is really slothful, man. And can't take correction. He can't take this. That's a slothful man. Right? Be careful with them kind of people, man. Right? So we'll read Numbers. Right? I'm gonna read through Numbers, man. Numbers 28. Alright, it's the book of Numbers, chapter 28. I'm gonna start from verse 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, command the children of Israel, and say unto them, my offerings and my bread for my sacrifices, made by fire, for a sweet savour unto me, shall ye observe to offer unto me in their due season. So obviously, you had offerings, right, that are for particular seasons, just like you have feast days, man. Feast days that are in its due season, right? Just as much as you have with the sacrifices, right? With the offerings, man, right, in their due seasons, right? It says, verse 3, and thou shalt say unto them, this is the offering of the This is the offering made by fire, which ye shall offer unto the Lord. 2 lambs of the first year without spot, day by day, for a continual burnt offering. Right? And I'm highlighting while I'm going past. So, I'm not just going to keep on just jumping down, right? And just keep on, may stop here and there. But, that's okay, right? It's okay. All we're doing is a read through, right? And really, this is really just to keep people attentive, man, right? And not just doing whatever, man. Because really, it's a day of atonement. You want to really be getting into your scriptures, right? Because that's the best time to really soak in information when you're on a fast, right? So this is Numbers 28 and verse 4. The one lamb shall thou offer in the morning, and the other lamb shall thou offer at even, and a 10th part of an ephah of flour for a meat offering, mingled with the 4th part of an hin of beaten oil. It is a continual burnt offering, which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet savour, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. Right. I'm just going to highlight that. Verse 7. And the drink offering thereof shall be the 4th part of an hin for the one lamb. In the holy place shalt thou cause the strong wine to be poured unto the Lord for a drink offering. And that's kind of deep. And I remember with Brother Peter was kind of saying how Jakes, they kind of, a lot of so-called Jakes, man, that they'll be pouring out drinks for their friends that or family that may have passed, right? So you got that kind of drink offering right there, man, right? It says, and it's a strong drink as well, right? It's verse 8. So Numbers 28 and verse 8. And the other lamb shall thou offer at even as the meat offering of the morning, and as the drink offering thereof. Thou shalt offer it a sacrifice made by fire for a sweet savour unto the Lord. And on the Sabbath day 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2 tenth deals of the flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof. And some people like to try and use certain precepts and think that, we don't have to cook. Right? Some brothers believe that on a new moon you could do work, right? But that's not true. That's just not true, right? Because when it comes to the work of the Most High, right, it comes down to the work of the Most High and the work that's servile work, right? Remember the Levites, they weren't getting paid for that. Oh yeah, here's $50, here's £50, right? These are spiritual things. Their lot was really given, or really their, if you want to call it pay, was given by the other tribes, man, which was given to them, right? But I'll read on. So just like it says, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto Yahweh what is Yahweh's, isn't it? Right? Because there's things that pertain to, your rent or whatever you pay that, obviously. But then there's things that pertain to what as well, man? They pertain to the Most High, right? Building up the temple and building your house that you're whatever working on. They're 2 different things. One is a spiritual thing ordained by the Most High, and one is not. Right? This is Numbers chapter 28 verse 10. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. So the priests, they were blameless when they were doing this, man. This is works pertaining unto the Most High. Right, this is verse 11. And in the beginning of your months ye shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, without spot. So in the beginning of the months, really, we'd offer 7, man, and that's a complete amount, right? 7 is a complete amount, right? It says verse 12, and 3 tenth deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2 tenth deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several tenth deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, unto 1 lamb for a burnt offering of a sweet savor, and a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And their drink offerings shall be an hin of fine flour. It's Numbers 28 and 14. And their drink offering shall be half an hin of oil of wine unto a bullock, and the 3rd part of an hin unto a ram, and a 4th part of an hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. Right, and when it comes down to a year, right, there's 12 months in a year, right? 12 months in a year, 30 days, right, per month, right? So, the priests, they were getting down, man, right? They were really getting it in, man, right? So that's why that whole roll, man, it wasn't just an easy roll, man. Right, verse 15. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering unto the Lord shall be offered, besides the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And in the 14th day of the 1st month is the Passover of the Lord. Right, and the 14th day, right, really going into and in the 14th day of the 1st month is the Passover of the Lord. Right, and that's obviously going into, we know the Exodus, right? Verse 17. And in the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. So the Passover and unleavened bread is essentially just one and the same. Right, it's one and the same. It's not different. Passover is the feast of unleavened bread. Right, it's just the first day of it. Right. Verse 17. And in the 15th day of this month is the feast. That it says 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. And the 1st day shall be an holy convocation. You shall do no manner of servile work therein. So you're not supposed to do any servile work on that day. Lord's willing, you should aim to get it off, man. Because when you want to book your, you want to go to your holidays and whatever you want to go to, right? You book that off, man. Right? Madness. Right? So, all praise to the Most High. Right? So this is Numbers chapter, and that word servile work as well. What's servile work? I'm gonna put it up in the Hebrew as well. Right, Numbers 28 and verse 17. Right, that word. What is it? Why does it do that, man? Right, servile work. Right, it says labor, service, labor, work, labor of servant or slave, labor, service of captives or subjects, or service of God. So it's obviously not pertaining to the service of God. It's pertaining to what?
Strong's H 5656. Avodah.
Right. So And there's different types of labor. There's not labor like in the sense where, you know, when you labor at camp, that's doing the work of the Most High. There's no sin in doing that. Right? It's Numbers 28 and verse 19. And it reads, "But ye shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, and 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deals shall ye offer for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram. And several 10th deals shalt thou offer for every lamb throughout the seven lambs, and 1 goat for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. Ye shall offer these beside the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering." Verse 24, "After this manner ye shall offer daily throughout the 7 days the meat of the sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savour unto the Lord. It shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And on the 7th day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work." Also, see that? It didn't say 8 days there, right? Or transition days. Alright? Doesn't say that. Reading on, right? Numbers 28 and verse 6. "Also in the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new meat offering unto the Lord, after your weeks be out, ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work. But ye shall offer the burnt offering for a sweet savour unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, and their meat offering of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals unto 1 bullock, 2/10 deals unto 1 ram." Verse 29, "A several 10th deal unto 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats to make an atonement for you. Ye shall offer them besides the continual burnt offering and his meat offering. They shall be unto you without blemish, and their drink offering." So you see, when it comes down to the things of the Most High, hey man, it's very specific, man. Right? And the priest couldn't get this wrong. Right? You had to make sure. It's like a chef, man. The chef has to make sure a dish is made right. Right? Now you're burning. Now you're burning certain meats, man. Right? It's too much salt in a souffle. Right? You can't have that spirit, man. You have to be able. Well, as a priest, anyway, they knew how to whip it up. Right? They knew how to whip it up, man. So we have to have that same really intricacy when it comes to the works of the Most High, man. Right? So that's Numbers 28. I'm going to read Numbers 29. Right? I'm going to read Numbers 29. Obviously, you know, we had Feast of Trumpets that just gone. Right? So, you know, hey, it just went. If you didn't keep it, you didn't keep it. Right? This is Numbers 29, verse 1. "And in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you." Like, we just literally had that. And, you know, you may have blew the trumpet, right? And it's more than just about blowing. You're standing there and you're saying, "Yeah, look at me, King." And you're blowing the trumpet. It's more than just that, man. Really, the trumpets are signifying, you know, destruction, danger that's to come on the earth, right? And really the calling back of, you know, Yasha'Allah, right? The children of Yasha'Allah, the children of Israel, back unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Because really you're supposed to come to the door of the tabernacle when you hear that. When you hear that trumpet, man. Right? This is Numbers 29 verse 2. And ye shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet saviour unto the Lord, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. So again, 7 going is a complete amount. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram, and 1/10 deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. So, hey, man, it was always really about making that atonement, man. You know, you have, and there's different types of offerings as well, right? There's different types of offerings. You got peace offerings, you got sin offerings, you got a wave offering as well, right? Where they kind of, or heave offering, where they kind of, I believe, heave when they, hold it up, and there's a wave. I think they, wave the offering in the air, right? Numbers 29 and 6, it says, beside the burnt offering of the month, and his meat offering, and the daily burnt offering, and his meat offering, and their drink offerings, according unto their manner, for a sweet saviour, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And ye shall have on the 10th day of this 7th month an holy convocation, and ye shall afflict your souls. See that? Ye shall not do any work therein. But hey, and that's what we're doing right now. Right? Again, I'll read it again. This is Numbers 29. And it shows you like how consistent it is. The Most High has emphasized for us to be keeping these statutes, man, because they're repeated, right, over a number of times. Right, it's Numbers 29 and 7. And ye shall have on the 10th day of this 7th month an holy convocation, and ye shall afflict your souls. Ye shall not do any work therein, but ye shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord for a sweet savour, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish. And they would have to be spotless and perfect. Right? These are offerings, man. It says, verse 9, and their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals to a bullock, and 2/10 deals to 1 ram. Reading on, it says, verse 10, a several 10th deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the sin offering of atonement, and the continual burnt offering, and the meat offering of it, and the drink offerings. So again, it's very specific, man, right? When it comes down to the offerings it comes down to the offerings just in general, right? It's very specific, man. Right, this is Numbers 29 and 12. And on the 15th day of the 7th month, ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work, and ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. And ye shall offer a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet saviour unto the Lord, 13 young bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year. They shall be without blemish. Right? And see that? I'm gonna check my calendar. Right? I believe this is going into tabernacles. I believe. Right, yeah, see that? That's going into tabernacles. Right? So, tabernacles, man. You gotta keep that. You gotta dwell in booths. You have to dwell in booths. Right? It's the book of Numbers, chapter 29 and verse 13. Right? This is Numbers 29 and 13. It says, and ye shall offer. Hold on. Gotta make sure the battery, you don't want it to die while you're doing a breakdown, man. Right, so this is Numbers chapter 29 and verse 13. And ye shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord, 13 young bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year. They shall be without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals unto every bullock of the 13 bullocks, 2/10 deals to each ram of the 2 rams, and a several tenth deal to each lamb of the 14 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 2nd day ye shall offer 12 young bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without spot, and their meat offering and their drink offering for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number, after the manner. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and the meat offering thereof, and the drink offerings. And on the 3rd day 11 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish, and their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 14th day 10 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish. Their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. I'm just going to highlight that because that was quite a long read, man. So this is really commandment for the priest, man. And the priest really is you brothers. You're a priest for your household. So in essence, man, you know, spiritually you're the one that's you gotta know how to pray. And I think that's one lesson to kind of go over, man. Right? We've done it before, but we're going to it again, man. Right? How to pray. Right? Because it's really the men knowing how to pray, you know, because you're the priest of your house. You know, whether you have a young son, you know, he's young, really, he should be growing up in the ways of the priest and knowing how to really offer these spiritual sacrifices. Obviously, in the ancient world, he would have physically, you know, if he was a son of Aaron, he might have cut this and then he put that on there and he cooked this and then he burned that, right? And he kind of said, Kwam Yasha, all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai, right? But he might have done that, right? But, you know, in regards to now, like, we give spiritual sacrifices, man. Spiritual sacrifices is what we're giving, man. When we pray, when we give supplication unto the Most High, it's not a carnal thing, right? In the sense of tabernacle, right? And the priests and, you know, where certain things would be offered, man, right on the east side, right? And, you know, there's certain places, even when it comes down to the sacrifices, there's like, I think I was reading in the book of Numbers, early on in the book of Numbers, it tells you how there's kind of like they'd have to go without the camp to put, you know, I believe ashes, I believe it is, right? You kind of take it, yeah, put it there, and then come back, right? This is Numbers chapter 29 and verse number 26. Maybe I'll save the highlighting, you know, but it can be an inconvenience slightly. But this is Numbers chapter 29 and verse number 26. It says, and on the 5th day 9 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without spot, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs, shall be according to their number, after the manner, and one goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 6th day 8 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year, without blemish, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs, shall be according to their number, after the manner, and one goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 7th day 7 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year, without blemish, and their meat offering, and their drink offering, for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs, shall be according to their number, after the manner, and one goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. On the 8th day ye shall have a solemn assembly, ye shall do no servile work therein. But and the 8th day, again, I believe that's for tabernacles again, right? That 8th day, right? Oh, man, right? That's really the last day, right? So this is Numbers 29 and verse 35. It says, and it says, on the 8th day ye shall have a solemn assembly, ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savour unto the Lord, 1 bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, without blemish. Their meat offering and their drink offerings, for the bullock, for the ram, and for the lambs, shall be according to their number, after the manner, and 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. These things ye shall do unto the Lord in your set feasts, beside your vows, and your free will offering, for your burnt offerings, and for your meat offerings, and for your drink offerings, and for your peace offerings. And Moses told the children of Israel according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So, hey, that's a lot, man. The priest, he had a lot of responsibility, man. Right? He had a lot of responsibility. Right? And the 8th day, maybe might do a couple, might be a few lessons, man. Right? There might be a few lessons this day, man. Right? The 8th day, the first day of tabernacles and the last day, they're treated as Sabbaths, man. Right? People say, oh, I'm not gonna. Hey, well, you gotta prepare. It is what it is. Oh, well, why is the calendar like this? Hey, well, because it is. Like that's what it is. It's when we go to the precepts, maybe not in this one, right? Maybe in a few hours time, right? In a few hours time, because hey, we should have time, because we shouldn't be working, right? We shouldn't be working. It's a day of atonement. When you're, really when you fast, obviously, us at WFI, right? We do a weekly fast, and when I say weekly fast, as in, out of the days of the week, there's really one day we should set aside to fast, man. Obviously, it's, it's usually Wednesday sundown. If it's in your spirit, really, you should do that too, right? If you're not fasting at least once a week, you're not gonna make it, man. You're not putting your body through a certain amount of stress, right? Or creating a tolerance. You ain't gonna make it, because you ain't gonna know how to deal with a situation where it's stress, man. You ain't gonna be able to deal with it. You're just gonna you're gonna cramp in the heat of the moment, right? You're gonna cramp in the heat of the moment, right? So all praise to the Most High, right? So again, Lord willing, right, we'll be back. There'll probably be more lives, right, throughout this day, but yeah, the aim is we're gonna finish and get to Numbers chapter 36, right? We're currently at Numbers 30, so that's 6 more chapters, right? And then even in that time, Lord willing, we might kind of go into a bit of Tabernacles, and kind of go into that as well, right? But essentially, really want to focus on the point of your fast, man. Just really digesting the precepts, man. Let's just I'll get one precept as well. Classic, everyone should know this precept, right? Matthew 4:4, right? Myself and Brother Jan, right? We're kind of dealing with that, man. Right, this is Matthew 4:4. I'll start from verse 1. This is Matthew 4:1. It says, Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And really, when it says that if something's of the Spirit, it's not of man's will to do. Like with Mary, and Lord willing, kind of go into that whole topic of the virgin birth, and that's another good point, because he's led of the Spirit, meaning that's not of himself, right? If something's of the Spirit, how is this gonna be? That's the Spirit. That's the Spirit. That's the thing that's giving you that guidance. It doesn't mean the Spirit impregnated her. That's madness. The Spirit impregnated her. Which tribe is the Spirit from? You're stuttering, man. Right? It says Matthew 4:2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread. Right? That's what these people be doing on the comments. Or if you're really an Israelite, show me you're circumcised. Right? That's what they be trying to kind of provoke you to do, man. Some kind of madness. Oh yeah, if you're really an Israelite, prove it. Because they're Israelite. But then circumcision is of the heart, man. What if I missed that? I've already broken that sin. Right? I've broke that commandment, So he said that, how shall you fasted? Right? And if you're not doing what Yahushua done, you're not Christ-like, are you? Yahushua fasted, you should be fasting. Right? It says verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out the mouth of God. Right? So that's what you live off, man. Right? And let's go to Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3. Right? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse number 3. Right? And it reads, And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live. So that's what man should be living off of, man. Man shouldn't just live off, you just eat in 7 days, man. Right? Obviously, it's a feast day, right, in that regard, man. Right? In that regard, it's a feast day. You might have a feast and it's 7 days. That's ordained by the Most High. Right? But, in regards to, you can't just eat every day. Right? Just eat all day, every day, man. Have a balance. Right? Have a balance to your food. Right? These are like the preliminary precepts before we go back into the book of Numbers. Right? This is Numbers 11 verse 1. It says, A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So really, we should have a just weight and a just balance to what we eat, what we digest, even the understandings that we digest, man. You can't be watching every camp. You're watching every camp's breakdown. This camp, they're saying, yeah, you can wear hats and teach the Bible. Right? This camp saying, yeah, you can have sex on the Sabbath. Right? This camp saying, you don't have to wear fringes. Right? I'm not saying don't watch certain camps. Certain camps are very good for things like history, right? Some breakdowns in terms of the garments and apparel that were worn by ancient Israel, right? But hey, man, you can't mix understandings, man. Right? Certain camps they teach, they have Edomites in their congregations, right? And they're walking around, and now they're telling Jakes, "Hey, Salakia, move that king now." You kind of your spirit rub you the wrong way, man. So, right, let's get that as well. This is Matthew. You can't have itching ears. Oh, what they debating about? What they debating about? What's this debate about? Right? You just want to know the debates. All you want to know is about the debates. Right? But nothing else. This is Matthew chapter 9 and verse 16. It says, "No man putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment, for that which is put in to fill it up taketh from the garment, and the rent is made worse. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved." So really, it's about keep the wine. You can't mix a Roman understanding and impose it on the Bible. That's mixing understandings. Right? You can't mix understandings. Right? Now you're trying to incorporate what they teach over there and bring it here. What they teach in Islam, now you're trying to bring it here. What they teach in Christianity, and now you're trying to bring it here. And the Bible isn't of Christianity. It's not of Christianity. It's not of Christianity. Right? It's about the children of Israel, firstly. So if you're a Christian, you're watching this, hey, you might want to switch it off. Right? Or maybe you want to stay on and be edified, innit? Right? But this might not be the right lesson for that, But the Bible is of the children of Israel. Right? That's why Malachi 3 and 6, man. And that verse is specific, right? The latter part of it anyway. Right? This is Malachi chapter 3. And when you read verse 6, it says, "For I am the Lord, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." It doesn't say, oh, the whole world. It says, ye sons of Jacob. They are the ones that are not consumed. Right? Because what? This whole manuscript, these books, really is set up for them. It's set up for them to keep. These ordinances is for them. It's not for everyone. Right? Yeah, nations will cleave to you naturally. It's not for them. Alright? This is not for them. Just give him the breakdown. Just give him the breakdown. Right? They say, I'll give him the breakdown for Revelation 12. Kind of looking at him. Give me the book of Revelation 13 and 10. We're going to break that down. Right? That's what we're going to break down. Right? Let's break down Isaiah 14. Right? 1 to 2. And we're going to jump down to verse 21, I believe it is, man. Right? Then you're going to go, okay, go to Ezekiel 7. Right? Then you're saying, okay, go to Genesis 12 and verse 3. Then you say, okay, hold on. Go to Genesis 12, Genesis 29 of verse 27. No, Genesis 29. Genesis 27 of verse 29, Salakia. Right, I believe it is. No. We're gonna get. I'm gonna find this precept. This precept is a great precept. Right, it's the book of Genesis, chapter. See that? Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 29. It says, "Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee." That's another one, man. Right? Now you're saying, okay, what's the other one, man? right? They got so many, right? Psalms 18, man. Psalms 118. You're saying read that, right? You're saying Psalms 149. You're saying Isaiah. Like you're saying Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9, Revelation 2 and 26, right? Bringing out all these precepts. You're saying I'll go to Revelation chapter 6, Revelation 16, right? You're going to so many. Oh yeah, break that. We're gonna break that down for you, right? See that, right? So there's many you can go to, man. We're saying Revelation 19, right? Revelation 19, right? Revelation. Hey, just what else you got? You got so Isaiah 60. Right, you're not saying that. Let's break down Isaiah 60. Right, you're saying no, can we start at verse 1? Verse 1, what's the context? No, we're gonna read verse 10. Right? And you know, as a priest, you have to have even Isaiah 54, right, verse 3. Right? It's Isaiah 54 and 3. It says, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the cities to be desolate. So like, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Right? So it's plenty, man. So Isaiah 49. See that? Yeah, Isaiah 49, right, in verse 23. Right? So there's many, man. Right? But can't we pray to Yahweh. Oh, shit, I'll show. Right, let's go back to Numbers. We're in Numbers 30. Right? This is the book of Numbers, chapter 30, and we're reading from verse 1. It says, and that's what, you know, you have to be careful about the vows that you make, man. Right? You gotta be careful about the vows that you make. Right? This is Numbers chapter 30 and verse 1. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. So a vow, you gotta be careful, man. Oh yeah, I promise. That's why you shouldn't swear, right? And swear isn't like you said. Okay, you said the F word, right? You said whatever word, man, right? Or you said, right? You said whatever word you said, right? That's not a that's not swear. That's not a swearing, right? Or cursing even, right? Don't let the modern terms that this so-called man has imposed dictate what the scripture says, right? Because really swearing is, or cursing is, if you say, yeah, your children so and so, or you and your family so and so, that's cursing. You're putting a curse on someone, right? Swearing is talking about vowing a vow, not talking about, oh yeah, you done this with your finger, right? And you said this, right? This is Numbers 30 and verse 3. If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and have bound wherewith she have bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vow shall stand, and every bond wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand. So really, your father was the one that could, well, for the woman, right? You kind of say, oh, well, I heard that, hey, that shall be in it. You kind of let that be, right? It says in verse 5, but if her father disallow her in, you see that? This is Numbers 30 and 5. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vow, or so like not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her. So you can kind of cancel out that vow, right? So that's why there's, like it says, there's death and life in the tongue, man. There's power in the tongue. So what you say to your children or just in general, be careful of it, man. Right? It says, verse 6, and if she had at all an husband when she vowed or uttered all out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So if she, maybe she said something, and oh yeah, well, I'm gonna so and so, and her husband didn't say not like or rebuke that, right? Then that's that, right? Verse 8. But if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect. And the Lord shall stand, select it, and the Lord shall forgive her, right? But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. See that? Because there's no covering in that sense, right? There's no one to really disannul that vow that's been made, right? This is verse 10. It says, and if she vowed a vow in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond, by a bound, so like, yeah. So it's Numbers 30 and 10. And if she vowed a vow in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and if her husband heard it, and held his peace, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So, what comes out of your mouth, be careful, man. Right? Don't just have loose lips, as they say. It says, but, verse 12, but if her husband have utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceedeth out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the bond of her soul, shall not stand. Her husband have made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. Verse 13, every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establisheth all her vows, or all her bonds which are upon her, he confirmeth them, because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them. So in essence, right, you as the head, right, you can, your wife saying, well, I'm gonna do whatever she's saying, right? You can say, like, oh, you ain't gonna do that, right? We rebuke that, right? That's void, right? That's not gonna come to pass, right? And don't have respect to persons. Now your wife is saying, well, I'm gonna do this to the children, and she starts treating them like a wave offering, and she's doing this with the children. Just like you would physically stop that, in the spiritual sense, your wife saying things, and you gotta rebuke that. That's why you gotta watch what is you're saying out of your mouth, man. Right, verse 15. Right, it says, but if he shall anyways make them void after that he have heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. You see that? That's why it says, we'll go to that after this, man. Right, verse 16, these are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses between a man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. Right, so even reading on that verse 15, man, that's kind of funny. Right, but it shows you the seriousness of the law, man. It says, Numbers 30 and 15. But if he shall in any ways make them void after that he have heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. Right? Right? That's dark, man. Right, now you that's very dark. Now you got a whole that's on you now. Right? That could them consequences, that's on you. Right, just in the Greek as what in Hebrew rather, it's Numbers 30 and 15. But if he nullifies them after he hears of them, then he will bear her iniquity. See that? So hey, that's why we're still in Numbers, right? Numbers 31, right? I'm just gonna put a tag right there, right? So I go to the book of James, man. You can't. Let's go Matthew first. Matthew 12:37. It says. Matthew 12. It's Matthew 12, yeah, Matthew 12. Matthew 12 and 37. Yeah, see that? The sister kind of here, see that? Got there first and that. This is Matthew 12. I start at 36. It says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Right? So the hell out of it, man. Right? By what you say, you're justified and you're condemned, man. Right? So that's why it's better to just keep your silence, man, sometimes, man. Right? Better to keep your silence. Right? Because if you've made a vow, then you got to kind of go through it. Right? You kind of got to deal with it. Oh, well, I didn't know. Well, you knew. I didn't know. I didn't know that I had to stay with her once I laid down with her. I didn't know. You just finding excuses, man. Alright? This is the book of James. James chapter 3 really talks about the words we say, right? This is James chapter 3 verse 4. It says, behold, and this is wisdom here, right? It says, behold, also the ships, which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. So a ship, man, you gotta remember, a ship is a big piece of machinery, right? It's a big vehicle, man, and it's some tiny little steering wheel, right? That's damn turning the whole ship. Now the ship's damn doing that, right? So that's the analogy that is being used here, man. How the ships, they're great, but it's just some small man, he's just doing this, right? And he turning the ship round, man. Right? So it's what we say, right? And it's powerful, man. Reading on, it says, even so, the tongue is a little member and boast of great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Right? Because now you're saying something to someone and they're saying, brother, what? And then now they're done drawing for whatever they're drawing for. Verse 6, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue amongst our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. Because what we say, or what you say, can be God knows what you say to someone, man. Right? God knows what you say to someone, and now you're wondering why they're chasing you down the road with a damn knife longer than your body. Right? Not that we condone that. You told man, hey, suck him up. And now my guy's chasing you down the road. Right? I saw one video yesterday, and the guy, these GMs, if you want to call them that, right? He's like chasing these two guys on a pedal bike. He's running, and the guy's got a knife. He's telling him, "Why's my cutting? Why's my cutting?" Right? So it shows you, right? People, people are something else, man. Right? It's Revelation 1, and I read verse 10. It says, "I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet." So that voice is Yahushai, and that trumpet is really signifying the voice of Yahweh, right, through Yahushai. So when you read Exodus 19, when you really read Exodus 19, man, right, this is Exodus 19 and verse Exodus 19, I think it's verse 19. Right, this is Exodus 19 and verse 19. It says, "And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yahweh answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon," right, Salakia, just verse 19, showing you that, the Lord's voice, right, is as of a trumpet, right? Does it mean it's a literal trumpet? No, it's just a very loud sound, man, right? The earth was probably shaking at this point, man, right? But it's a loud voice, right? Like it says even in verse 18, "And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended." And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So they're probably the earth shaking, right, like this. Moses is saying what he's saying, and the Most High's kind of talking back. The Israelites are probably doing this, right? They're just probably looking, not trying to look, man. It's like a certain what's the word, man? When you burn certain things, and they have to wear like a mask, you can't actually look at that directly because they say it will blind you, right? So it's like that, man, right? And just even on that precept, like Yahushua said, he said, "No man have heard," what's that? Right, "no man has seen it." Right, so this obviously wasn't Yahweh, right? This is John chapter 1. John 1 and verse 18. It says, "No man has seen Yahweh at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he have declared him." Right? So it's Yahweh Shai that's declaring what the sayings of Yahweh. Right? He is declaring that through what he's saying, because he's that word that's been made. And someone gave a great analogy of how you have the Most High and Yahweh Shai. They're not the same entity, right? Yeah. Firstly, Yahweh Shai was created, right? But he said, it's like a puppet, right, and a puppet master. And he it was divine prospect, right? He said this analogy. He said, Yahweh, right, being the puppet master, and then the Yahweh Shai is the puppet that's on the hand. And then when Yahushua has been made flesh, right, he becomes now the actual hand, man. Because the puppet's been taken off, and he's the actual hand of Yahweh, right? Which is a great analogy, right? So that's really what it is when it comes down to Yahweh Shai, right? And Yahweh, right? What Yahweh Shai and what is and in Hebrew, right? And Lord willing, right? I believe Sapaya, you might even be watching, man. Lord willing, Lord willing, brother's gonna start doing some Hebrew on the live, right? Right, Lord willing, he'll be doing some Hebrew on the live, right? Because we need to know the Hebrew, right? So Sapia, if you're watching, right, let's send the message now, right? So Sapia, if you're watching, we're gonna need some Hebrew on the live, right? Let me send him a message. Right. Right. So hey, there's gonna be some Hebrew lessons coming up, right? That's being put down, right? Slapped on the WFI Europe page, man. Right? And anyone that's maybe you're trying to reach out, what you're in Europe, reach out, man. Right? Don't be I just want to be a keyboard warrior. Right? Whether you're a sister, right? Your brother, right? Reach out. Right? It's all about growth, man. It's all about growing and adding on to what you've got, man. Right? Don't expect yourself to just grow as an individual, like, man, by yourself in some dark corner and say, yeah, holy convocation, it's just me and myself and I. Right? Right. So the brother said, hey, he said Khan. Right? The brother said Khan. Right? Right? He said Khan. He said Khan. Right? So, hey, there'll be, right? It's not zooming out and that. There'll be some Hebrew lessons coming on the live. Right? The brother said Khan. Right? So all praises to the Most High Yahweh Shai. Right? So that was Numbers 30. Now I go in Numbers 31. Right? So all praise to the Most High. Marathon class and that. Right? And it's more so a reading. Right? So that's Numbers 31. And then maybe I might do two more maybe. There might be another one. Might do might do Galatians. Might read off for complete Galatians, and then maybe one on Tabernacles as well. Right? But obviously these lessons obviously are being done for those that are actually keeping the feast Day of Atonement. Right? You're keeping the Day of Atonement. This is really for those that are at home, on that time. Because really, man, you should be in it. Right? You should be focused. Right? Maybe we might be at work. I pray, Lord willing, next year, if there is a next year, you keep it properly, man. Book that day off. Just like when you booked off that holiday and you went Spain, right? And you was enjoying it and you was suntan and blah blah blah. Right? Book it off, man. Right? So yeah, this is Numbers, right? Chapter 31 and verse number 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, avenge, see that? Right? Now Christians say, no, that's why we don't read the law. That's why we don't read the law. We don't read the book of Numbers. Right? It says Numbers 31 and 2. Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterward shall I be gathered unto thy people. That's dark, man. And do you think Moses cried, oh no. Right? And he was, right? And he got sad in that, man. Right? That must have been you watch the movies, man. Right? Die Hard. Right, you got Die Hard, man. Django, man. All these, he's kind of doing this, right? And he kind of might get shot, and he's like, all praises to Yahweh, and he kind of goes out of the game, man. Right? Right? So this is, because they were off, the Midianites. Right? They were off. Right? Oh, yeah, we like the Midianites. Yeah, we like them. See that? Right? No. Numbers 27, 13. Right? This is Numbers 31 and verse 3. And Moses spake unto the people, arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites and avenge the Lord of Midian. Right? Right, and I believe that's going into what's his name, man? Right, we're gonna pull it up. Right, I'm gonna read on. Right, this is Numbers 31 and hold on. Numbers 31 and verse, I read 3. Right, Numbers 31, and I'm reading verse 4. It says, of every tribe 1,000 throughout all the tribes of Israel shall you send to the war. So men were going to war, man. Right, I'm not talking about World War 1 and 2 and stuff like that. Right, they were going to ancient battle, man. Right, ancient battlements, man. It says verse 5. So they were delivered out of the thousands of Israel, 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed, 12,000 armed for war. Right? It says verse 6. And Moses sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, to war, with holy instruments and trumpets to blow in his hands. He should have brought out this precept, man. Right? Because when you went to war, and the priest they probably got cracking too, man. Right? You probably looking at and in ancient Israel, you probably would have seen this priest. You probably seen him. Oh, he's doing this. Maybe he's doing this. Right? Maybe he's doing this. Right? And he's kind of sprinkling the blood. You would never think you would see this guy. Now he's done doing this and he's cutting up the heathen. Right? Like that's where they get it in the movies, man. Right? And they're shooting at them and they're kind of doing this, man. Right? And they're dodging the bullets. Right? Right? So and they went to war. Right? With holy instruments. You know? Verse 7. It says, there's Numbers chapter 31, and they're reading verse number 7. And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. Right? They slew all the males. Right? And the reason for that, why would they do something so sad and sickening? Right? The reason why they did that is because the males is really where the land can be repopulated by. And this was a holy thing that they done. Oh, why did they do that? They shouldn't have done that. Right? Stop being soft when it comes to the Bible, man. Right? Samuel, he said to Lord willing, we'll get that, man. I will show you what Samuel done. Right? Samuel got down with a sword, man. Right? He kind of anointed the kings of Israel. And he kind of said, yeah, bring that guy here. Yeah, put him there. Right? Verse 7, it says, and they, I jumped to 8, sorry. And they, see that? I mean, you got to read the Bible for yourself. Why would the holy people do this? Right? It says Numbers 31 and 8. And they slew the kings of Midian beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Envy and Rechem and Zur and Hur and Rabbah, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also, see that? Balaam also, the son of Beor, they slew with the sword, man. Right? Because remember you had, and that's what I was trying to find. You had Balak, right? And Balaam. Right? Balak, I believe he's right? And he probably knew it. Because remember, you know, I don't want to say he's like an intercessor, right? But, you know, you know, Balaam, he was Balaam and Balak, they kind of, well, Balak was trying to conspire against Israel and try to use Balaam, right? So that's the judgment, man. Right? See that? This is verse 9. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods. Right? And I say, why'd they do that? Right? Because it's judgment. Right? That's why, because it's judgment. Right? Got to highlight that one in the blue. Right? And really, I'll kind of show. Right? I'll kind of show as well on my screen. Right? Just for, you know, obviously those that are watching, yeah? Like, it's how I kind of do my Bible. Right? I'll kind of have the yellow or the it's like a color code. The yellow really is like laws, right? It's commandments, right? The orange being wisdom, right? The blue being judgment, right? Let's see if I can find any more, right? And then I have, well, so I have to find a page where I kind of, right? And then I got like your kind of pink or red or whatever you want to call it. That's really your that's sin, right? That's any sort of transgression, right? And then even here actually I've got green, right? And the green really represents like history or prophecy, right? And then if I can find another one, see that I found another one. Then I have purple, right? Purple, which represents the scriptures that are dealing with the heathen, right? So I can show that as well. Right, so you want to really have, I said, who are you? Have see that? Who are, right? And just, you know, in second Esdras, right, where you got the purple, that's really the heathen, right? Who are Yahweh's enemies on the earth today? All the other nations, right? All the other nations, right? Except for the children of Israel. Right, to answer your question. This is Numbers chapter 31 and verse number 10. Right, it says, and they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. That's more judgment. Right? It says, and they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and of beasts, and they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. Right? So I want to highlight that bit, because that's you know, I'd either highlight this with maybe like the blue or maybe the purple, right? But really I'll put the blue because it's judgment, right? And I might kind of put a little purple in there as well, right? And that's just how I do with my Bible, and obviously you may have your own way in how you do it, right? So this is Numbers 31 and 13. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and with the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that have known man by lying with him. Right? So now you're saying, oh, well, why did they do that? Obviously, there's a reason, right? Because firstly, it would be that's adultery, right? You're taking, you're taking a woman that's got a husband, and you say, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is not Islam, right? Where you can do that, man. It's not Islam, man. Right, and you can read that. I think that's in Surah 64. Right, Surah 64. I think it's 4. Not Surah 64. What's that Surah, man? Surah. Is it 64 and verse 5, maybe? Right. That's you can do that, man. I'm not gonna run up and get my damn Quran, but there's a surah which talks about menstruation, women. That's it. See that? Right. So that surah, right, is surah 65 and verse 4. Right. It says, see that? As for your woman past, so Surah 65 and verse 4, as for your woman past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as well. Those who have not menstruated as well. Even when you go into the, they're like hadiths or I don't want to say they're Bible commentaries, right? But it says, and for those who have not menstruated as well, that's going into people that are underage, right? As for those who are pregnant, their waiting period ends with delivery, and whoever is mindful of Allah, He will make their matters easy for them. So it doesn't matter. Maybe he was a heathen. Or do you believe Islam is real or fiction? When you say real or fiction, I wouldn't say it's not. I wouldn't say it's fiction because it does exist. There's a thing, right? There's a term I've learned, right? It's called, what's the term? So it's the term of henotheism, right? Henotheistic, right? Really, we as the children of Israel, we believe in one singular power, right? Yahweh, right? Bahashem Yahushai, right? Who is our high priest. But even the Bible itself is henotheistic, right? Because it tells you of the other powers, right? Which are really set over by the Most High to confound other nations, right? Remember, the nations were given the bounds of the people, like since Deuteronomy 32, they were set over. Like regions have certain spirits that kind of govern that as well. So you have. I'll quickly go there as well. All right. Because not that to say that Islam isn't real. I'm not a Muslim, right? Right. This is Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the children. Salakia, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So each nation has their own inheritance, meaning they have their own whatever. You got Chemosh, you got Baal, you got there's these different idols, man, that the Most High really set up for these nations to follow. So not that they're not real, it's just that they're not the truth. Most I set these things up, yeah, follow this and follow that, right? So we obviously have that's what we're Israel. We've committed spiritual fornication in how we've gone to these other gods, man, and to these other things that we weren't ordained to follow, right? We've committed that spiritual fornication, you know. So this is back to Numbers 31, where it said about how so read verse 17 again. It says Numbers 31 and 17, it says, now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that have known man by lying with him, but all the woman children that have not known a man by lying with him keep alive for yourself, because in the custom of war, that's a natural thing. I believe you can read that in Deuteronomy 20 or 21, and it tells you about how a man would take a woman in those days, man. Right? People say, oh, but why they do that? Why they do that? They're not allowed to do that. That's how it was, right? Take it up with the Most High, right? But you don't say nothing when it's these other nations, and they confound your people and they make you believe folly, man. Well, that's fine though. They can do that. That's okay, right? But this is Numbers, and I might even do a breakdown on it as well, right? There was one video that these Muslims, man, they run upon like IUIC, and they were trying to ask the brother, oh, is it fine for them to have done this or whatever? That's what they try and kind of said that to him, innit? And obviously the brother, he was using wisdom in not answering that point, right? Because they're really just trying to draw them out, really, you know. And Cool Runnings, really, you know, if you're an Israelite, you know, as per Deuteronomy 28, you know, you got to be really getting down with the scriptures, man. Getting down and getting back into the word. If you know, if you are, Lord willing, you know, I don't know what nation you're from, but yeah, man, if you're an Israelite, you got to search out the lineage of your fathers, right? This is Numbers 31, verse 19. It says, and do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever have killed any person, and whosoever have touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captains on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So there's a period of purification, right? When it comes to touching the dead, I believe that's Numbers 19, right? See that the tribe of Benjamin. So yeah, all praise to the Most High, man. Right? What? Right? All praise to the Most High. So yeah, all praises, man. Right? If you get in touch with a congregation, well, you in a congregation. If you're in a congregation, join a congregation, brother. If you're not already in one, right? All praise to the Most High, right? But I said, Cool Runnings. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why the brother's name is Cool Runnings, right? So, hey, all praises to the Most High, man. Right? So, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 31, and reading verse 20. It says, and purify all your raiment, and all that is made of skins, and all work of goat's hair, and all things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto the men of war which went to the battle, this is the ordinance of the law which the Lord commanded Moses. Only the gold and the silver, the brass, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may abide in fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, well, hey, brother, Salakia, right? If you're in London myself, where is the good one to join? Well, I'll put the email here, right? Right, if you want to get in contact, right, what's my person? Right, I think that's the email, right? I mean, hey, get in contact, innit? Drop an email, right, to the chat, right? This is Numbers chapter 31. I read verse 20 again. It says, only the gold and the silver, the brass, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. And all that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water. And ye shall wash your clothes on the seventh day, and ye shall be clean, and afterward ye shall come into the camp. So obviously, if you was unclean, you would be set without the camp, just like Miriam, when she was unclean. Hey, what they do, man? They told her, in Numbers 12, they told the camp kind of waited till Miriam was clean again, so that she could be brought back into the camp, right? It says, verse 25, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of man and of beast, thou and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation, and divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation, and leave a tribute. See that? I want to get this in, because I'm reading in the 1611. Right, when you're reading the 1611, sometimes the word is not looking like what you think it is. Right, this is Numbers chapter 31 and verse 28. Might have to read from my laptop. It says, take ye the sum of prey that was taken, both of man and of beast, thou and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation. It says, reading on, and divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between the congregation. Right, verse 28 is what I wasn't able to read. It says, and levy, or maybe, see that, and levy a tribute unto the Lord of the men which went out to battle, 1 soul 500, both of the persons, and of the beeves, and of the asses, and of the sheep. Right, I'll read it in the NLT or ESV actually as well. It says, and levy for the Lord a tribute from the men of war who went out to battle, 1 out of 500 of the people, and of the oxen, and of the donkeys, and of the flocks. Right, reading on. Right, it says, verse 29, take it of their half, and give unto Eleazar the priest for an heave offering. Right, so again, that there's different types of offerings, and Lord willing, there's a few lesson plans that I kind of have as well, obviously for the congregation, but basing off something that I was sent, kind of follow that pattern in it. Right, go into the types of offerings that were given, right, type of offerings that you have. Right, it says verse 30, and of the children of Israel, and of the children of Israel's half, thou shalt take 1 portion of 50 of the persons, of the beeves, of the asses, and of the flocks, of all manner of beasts, and give unto the Levites which keep the charge of the tabernacle. And Moses and Eleazar did as the Lord commanded Moses, and the booty, being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught, was 600,000, and 70,000, and 5,000 sheep. So when it really goes into booty, it's really talking about loot, right? So if you're giggling behind the camera and that, right, really your mind is really not right. Right, it says Numbers chapter 31 and verse 3. right? Okay, right. This is Numbers. Select madness. Right, this is Numbers chapter 31. So we're still here, right? I just tapped off the screen. It's Numbers chapter 31, and we're on verse 33. And 62,000 beeves, and 1,000 asses, and 2,000 persons in all of women that had not known man by lying with him. So that's the spoils of war. That's what they call that, spoils of war. In war, when war happened, a people, people became subjects, man, and they became slaves. Right? They became spoils of war. Right? It says, as verse 36, and a half, which was the portion of them that went out to war, was in number 3,007 and 30,000 and 500 sheep. And the Lord's tribute of the sheep was 603 score and 15, and the beeves were 30 and 6,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 3 score and 12. Just to answer your question, I'm gonna go to right, Shalakin. Right, I think it should be back. Right, I think it's back now. But I'm gonna get that in Numbers 21 and to explain that point. Right, there's something called spoils of war. It says Numbers 31, and there's a criteria for taking spoils of war in it. It's not just that they just went and they just took these women. It's to do with spoils of war, right? Which is context, right? This is Numbers 31, and I start at verse 40. It says, and the persons was 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 13 and 2 persons. And Moses gave tribute, which was the Lord's heave offering, unto Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses, and of the children of Israel's half, which Moses divided from Salakia, which Moses divided from the men that warred. Now the half that pertained unto the congregation was 330,000 and 7,000 and 500 sheep, and 30 and 6,000 beeves, and 30,000 asses, and 516,000 persons. Even of the children of Israel's half, Moses took one portion of 50, both of man and of beast, and gave them unto the Levites, which kept the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the officers, which were over thousands of the hosts, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses. And they said unto Moses, thy servants have taken the sum of the men of war, which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us. We have therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, what every man have gotten of jewels, of gold, chains, and bracelet, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, even all brought jewels, and all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord, of the captains of thousands and of captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. For the men that warred had taken spoils, every man for himself. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord. So, right, this is I said that's the they got down, man. right? Just to quickly read Deuteronomy chapter 21. Is it Deuteronomy 21? Excuse me. Right? So this is Deuteronomy 21. Going into the spoils of war, right? And chiefly, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be. You know. You now know the truth. You should get with another Israelite woman, right? According to the scriptures, right? Like in Deuteronomy 7, Ezra 9, right? Ezra 10, right? Tobit 4, right? There's many precepts, man. Right? Right? All praise to the Most High, right? So, this is Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 21, and I'll read from verse 10. It says, when thou goest forth to war against thy enemies, and the Lord thy God have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive. So there's a criteria that comes down to, taking spoils of war, right? Firstly, it's when you go forth to war against thy enemies, and the Lord thy God have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, right? And thou seest the captive a beautiful woman, and has desired unto her, and has a desire unto her that thou wouldest have to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head, and par her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. So that's in the case of spoils of war, right? But me personally, I prefer the daughters of Zion. You know, so that's the doesn't mean okay, yeah, now it's wartime, it's spiritual warfare. Yeah, let me go and get a heathen, right? Should be keeping it kosher, right? And keeping it we should be rebuilding the nation with your own, right? So there's obviously context to that, right? Right, there's obviously context to that. Right. So and there's a criteria for what's done to attain somebody as um as your bond maid, right? Because she's really a lesser wife, right? But back to Numbers, I got a lot of highlighting to do, man. Right, I've got a lot of highlighting to do. Right, we got a lot of reading to do, man. But hey, all praises, because hey, David Tobin, right? God, I'll probably read it and then I probably have to highlight it in my own time. We're gonna just try and keep it succinct and just straightforward, right? This is Numbers, so we're in Numbers 32 now, man. Right? This is Numbers 32, and we're reading from verse 1. It says, now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle, and when they saw the land of Azazel and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and unto Eleazar and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Toroth and Dibon and Eleazar and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eleazar and Shabam and Nebo and Beon even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore they say, verse 5, wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. Right? Reading on, it says, and Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war? See that? And shall ye sit here? So your brethren there going camp, you're chilling, you're cooling. Oh yeah, I'm relaxing at home. Right? See that? Verse 7, and wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them. Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up unto the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel that they should not go into the land which the Lord had given them. And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he swears, saying, surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. That's dark. Right? Verse 14, and behold, ye are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Lord toward Israel. For if ye turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and ye shall destroy all this people. And they came near unto him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel, until we have brought them unto their place, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the Lord. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan, or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. And Moses said unto them, if ye will do this thing, if ye will go armed before the Lord to war, and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord, until he hath driven out his enemies from before him. And the land shall be, verse 22, and the land shall be subdued before the Lord, then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. But if ye will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. That's funny, man. I say your sin will find you out. Verse 24, build ye cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which have proceeded out of your mouth. Like going back into that point of the oath. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, thy servants will do as my Lord commandeth. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But thy servants will pass over, every man armed for war, before the Lord to battle, as my Lord saith. So concerning them, Moses commanded Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moses said unto them, if the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land shall be subdued before you, then ye shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possession among you in the land of Canaan. And the Lord, verse 31, it says, and the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, as the Lord hath said unto thy servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side Jordan may be ours. And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and unto half the tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land with the cities thereof in the coast, even the cities of the country round about. And the children of Gad built Dibon, and a Taroth, and a Roer, and a Troth, and Shopan, and Aizah, and Jogbahath, and Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fenced cities and folds for sheep. And the children of Reuben bought Heshbon, and Elielah, and Kiriathaim, and Nebo, and Baal Meor, their names being changed, and Shibmah, and gave other names unto the cities which they builded. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead, and took it, and disposed the Amorite which was in it. And Moses gave Gilead unto Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he dwelt therein. And Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the small towns thereof, and called them Havoth Jair. And Nobah went and took Kenath, and the villages thereof, and called it Nobah, after his own name. Right? So that's Numbers 33. Right? So we'll put it to the Most High. Right? So that's Numbers 33. Numbers 32 we just read. Now we're going to Numbers 33. Right? I would have been highlighting and putting like precepts down, but again, we're just reading through. Right? We're just reading through. Right? So this is Numbers 33. So like this is Numbers 33, and reading from verse 1. It says, and that really Numbers 32 is really showing you like the different lots that people have, and even lands that people are appointed to have. Right? So this is Numbers 32, verse 33, sorry, Numbers 33, and we're starting from verse 1. It says, these are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt, with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramses in the first month on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Passover. The children of Israel went out with an high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. Right, it's going into Passover. Verse 4, for the Egyptians buried all the firstborn, which the Lord had smitten among them, upon their gods. Also the Lord executed judgment. See that's dark, and that's why I was telling the brother about that point of henotheism, where it's the word for henotheism is the adherence to one particular god, right? But it acknowledges or doesn't deny the existence of other deities that are worshipped, because these are the gods of the Egyptians that they worship. But we know that there's one. They're saying, oh, you're looking like a Muslim and that, right? All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? This is Numbers 34. So that's Mike. It says that the Lord executed judgment upon the gods of the Egyptians too. Right? This is Numbers 33, verse 5. And the children of Israel removed from Ramses and pitched in Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and pitched in Atham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Atham and turned again into Pi Hahiroth, which is before Baal Zethon, and they pitched before Migdol. And they departed from before Pi Hahiroth and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Atham, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah and came unto Elim, and in Elim were 12 fountains of water, and 70 palm trees. And they pitched there. And they removed from Elim and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. Right, verse 12. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Zin. I said Zin, right? I don't know if, because just there's the wilderness, you got Zin, and the right, because there's a place called Zin, right? Just to throw that in there, man. Right, the wilderness of Sin, right, which is Zin, right? Which is Numbers 32 and verse 12, and it says, and they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin, right, which is, it's in the I'm reading the KJV, right, but it's Zin, and encamped in Dovka, and they departed from Dovka and encamped in Alash, and they removed from Alash and encamped at Rephidim, where was no water for the people to drink, and they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai, and they removed from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kibroth Hattaua, and they departed from Kibroth Hattaua and encamped at Haziroth, and they departed from Haziroth and pitched in Rithmah, and they departed from Rithmah and pitched at Rimmon Perez, and they departed from Rimmon Perez and pitched in Libnah, and they removed from Libnah and pitched at Rissah, and they journeyed from Rissah and pitched in Kehelatha, and they went from Kehelatha and pitched in Mount Shether, and they removed from Mount Shether and encamped in Haradah, and they removed from Haradah and pitched in Makaloth, and they removed from Makaloth and encamped at Tahath, and they departed from Tahath and pitched at Torah, and they removed from Torah and pitched at and pitched in Mek. See that? These words crazy. So Numbers 31 and 28, and they removed from Torah and pitched at Mitzkah, and they went from Mitzkah and pitched in and pitched in Hashmona, and they departed from Hashmona and encamped at Moseroth, and they departed from Moseroth and pitched in Beni Akan, right? Verse 32, and they removed from Beni Akan and encamped at Hor HaGidad, and they went from Hor HaGidad and pitched in Jotbaha, and they removed from Jotbaha and encamped at Ebrona, and they departed from Ebrona and encamped at Ezon Geber, And they removed from Ezon Geber and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is in Kadesh. See that? That's now. See that? And they removed. So just to correct myself, right? Because you got the wilderness of Zin, and then the wilderness of Hold on. Right. So just to right, two locations. There's two locations. You got the wilderness of Zin and the wilderness of Sin. Right. The wilderness of Zin. Right. We'll bring up the map as well. Right. Right. This is an example. Right. But the wilderness of Zin just down at the bottom. Right. And then you got a wilderness of Zin right around that region there. Right. That's what kind of was confounded me. Right. But it's okay. Right. This is Numbers 32, and I believe it was at verse 36. Right. It's Numbers 32 and verse 36. Right. And it reads, and they removed from Ezion Geber and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land of Edom. And Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of the Lord and died there in the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south in the land of Canaan, heard the coming of the children of Israel. And they departed from Mount Hor and pitched in Zalmanah. And they departed from Zalmanah and pitched in Punon. And just on verse 40, the nations heard about what had been done to the Egyptians, man. Israel must have been doing a mad thing, right? To be known. Imagine you're known about before you're profound, before you've even got to a certain area, right? This is verse 43. And they pitched, slacking. See that? Verse 43, and they departed from Punon and pitched in Oboth, and they departed from Oboth and pitched in Abiram in the border of Moab, and they departed from Im and pitched in Dibon Gad, and they removed from Dibon Gad and encamped in Almon Diblathaim, and they removed from Almon Diblathaim and pitched in the mountains of Abiram before Nebo, and they departed from the mountains of Abiram and pitched in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, and they pitched by Jordan from Beth Jeshemoth even unto Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then, verse 52, it reads, Then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high priests, and ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it. And ye shall divide the land by lot. And it's like, I'll read verse 54 again. And ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and to the more ye shall give the more inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth, according to the tribes of your fathers ye shall inherit. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them. So really, you know, you were supposed to get rid of these people, man. Right? You're supposed to get rid of them. Right? But hey, let bygones be bygones. Right? Right? But that just comes down with the discipline that the Most High set up, man. Right? We're supposed to really have done this. We didn't do it. You know? That's why we have these things of like day of affliction, you know, for the things that we were supposed to do that we didn't do. Right? Reading on. This is Numbers chapter 34. Shalakia. Right, this is Numbers chapter 34. And we're going to read verse 1. See that? That's one. Numbers 34 and verse 1. Right? And it reads. Let's see how much battery we have here. 10% of battery. Right, this is Numbers chapter 34, verse 1. It says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall unto you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan, with the coast thereof. Then your south quarter shall be from the wilderness of Zin, along by the coast of Edom, and your south border shall be the outmost coast of the Salt Sea eastward, and your border shall turn from the south to the ascent of Akrabim, and pass unto Zin, and the going forth thereof shall be from the south to Kadesh Barnea, and shall go on to Hazar Adar, and pass on to Asmon, and the border shall fetch verse 5, and the border shall fetch a compass from Amzon unto the river of Egypt, and the going out of it shall be at the sea. Verse 6, and as for the western border, you shall even have the great sea for a border. This shall be your west border, and this shall be your north border. From the great sea you shall point out for you Mount Hor. From Mount Hor ye shall point out your border unto the entrance of Hamath, and the goings forth of the border shall be to Zedad, and the border shall go on to Ziphron, and the goings out of it shall be at Hazar Anan. This shall be your border, your north border, Salakia. Verse 10, and ye shall point out your east border from Hazan Anan to Shapham, and the coast shall go down from Shapham to Riblah on the east side of Ain, and the border shall descend and shall reach unto the side of the sea of Chinnereth eastward, and the border shall go down to Jordan, and the goings out of it shall be at the salt sea. This shall be your land, with the coast thereof round about. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which ye shall inherit by lot, which the Lord commanded to give to the 9 tribes and to the half tribe. So, you know, the dividing up of the land and you know what and who got what, really, you know, right? So I'm just gonna turn on the messages as well, right? So reading on, right, in verse 14, for the tribe of the children of Reuben according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe have received their inheritance on this side Jordan, near Jericho, eastward toward the sun rising, right? That's towards the east. That's really the direction we're, well, from where you are, you're praying towards Jerusalem, which is really, let's say if you're on Babylon, great, you're on, that's eastward, or that's towards the east. Let's say if you're on, Europe, like in the UK, we pray southeast, towards Jerusalem, right? Which is towards the rising of the sun, right? This is Numbers 32 and verse 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, These are the names of the men which shall divide the land unto you, Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun. And ye shall take one prince of every tribe to divide the land by inheritance. Right? And obviously the Levites, they're not involved in this. Right? This is Numbers chapter 34 and verse 19. And the names of the men are these: of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh; and of the tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemuel the son of Ammihud; of the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad the son of Chislon; and the prince of the tribe of the children of Dan, Buki the son of Jelogi. Verse 23, the prince of the children of Joseph, for the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Haniel the son of Ethod; and the prince of the tribe of Ephraim, Chemiel the son of Shiptan; and the prince of the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elizathan the son of Parnak; and the prince of the tribe of the children of Issachar, Palatiel the son of Azan; and the prince of the tribe of the children of Asher, Ahihud the son of Shelomi; and the prince of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Pedahel the son of Ammihud. These are they whom the Lord commanded to divide the inheritance unto the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. Right, so we'll praise to the Most High. Right, so we're almost there, man. Right, we're almost there. Right, so the Levites, they don't have a lot in regards to land, because contextually, according to the scriptures, not to try and sound like some fancy guy and whatnot, the Levites would be amongst the tribes, because obviously amongst the tribes you'd have people carrying out sacrifices, right? That's why the Levites were amongst the tribes, right? You can read, I think, Numbers 35. We're literally about to read it. I'm about to say Numbers 35. Right, this is Numbers 35 and verse 1. It says, And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possessions cities to dwell in, and ye shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities round about them. So the Levites, they would be in, let's say those that live in London, man. You'd have Levites definitely in every borough. Let's say it like that for to make it easy. You'd have Levites, right, that will carry out the sacrifices in every borough, because you'd have Israelites in every borough, right, and you need them to carry out the priestly duties, right? This is Numbers 35 and verse 3. And the cities shall they have to dwell in, and the suburbs of them shall be for their cattle, and for their goods, and for all their beasts. And the suburbs of the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites shall reach from the wall of the city, and outward 1,000 cubits round about. And ye shall measure from without the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city shall be in the midst this shall be to them the suburbs of the cities. Verse 6. And among the cities which she shall give unto the Levites, there shall be 6 cities for refuge, which he shall appoint for the manslayer, that he may flee thither, and to them ye shall add 40 cities. So, that's going into where, let's say, someone committed, they killed someone, they would be able to dwell in these cities. Once they made it to this city, the Revenger of Blood, I believe it's called, or the Revenger that would try and, like they say, they call it a GBG, right? That would try and get back for whatever the person had done. Once that person had reached that refuge, that city of refuge, you couldn't, you couldn't get to, you couldn't go to that city and just do whatever you wanted to do, right? You couldn't just, okay, yeah, well, this happened, and you kind of get out of there, you run in, you trying to get to this city of refuge. Once you got to that city, they couldn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Reading on, right? This is, about to say Sirach. This is, now I'm about to say Ephesians, right? Madness, right? This is Numbers, right? This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35, and verse, I'll start from verse 7. So all the cities which ye shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities, them shall ye give with their suburbs, and the cities which ye shall give shall be of the possession of the children of Israel. From them that have many ye shall give many, but from them that have few ye shall give few. Every one shall give of his cities unto the Levites according to his inheritance, which he inheriteth. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye become over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall appoint your cities. Verse 11. Then ye shall appoint you cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the slayer may flee thither, which killeth any person at unawares, like the sister said. What's the word? I don't want to say unintentionally, at unawares, right? This laptop's dead, right? 12%, but hey, we're keeping it going, right? We're on 12%, but we're keeping, and that's spiritual. We're on 12%, guys, right? We're on 12%, right? For the 12 tribes of Israel, man, right? So, right, so just gonna pull that up as well, right? This is Numbers 35, and we read verse 11. Yeah, so we'll pray to the Most High. So this is Numbers 35 and 11 in the, you're reading the Hebrew, right? Designate cities to serve as your cities of refuge, so that a person who kills someone unintentionally, right, may flee there, right? So that's what those cities were for, you might have any instance, man, you might have, accidentally, now their family's trying to kind of get onto you, they're trying to find you and kind of do you in, you flee to these cities, man, right? Or one of these cities, right? This is verse 12, Numbers 35 and 12. It says, and they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger, that the manslayer die not, until we stand before the congregation in judgment. So they'd have judges that would judge the matter, right? What happened? Is it worth him dying? Like, what should be the penalty for this? Because like it says, I believe in the Torah, right? It does, off the top of my head, in the context of, if you have a bull and you know that the bull, he's tapped in the head, he's known for goring people, and he's just doing a mad thing, and you don't deal with that, and you and something happens from that, right? That's gonna be on you, right? But if you didn't know, oh yeah, this guy the bull, he's a bit nuts, or you didn't know that, right? Then obviously that's not on you, innit, right? Right. I just want to pull that up as well. Yeah, so this is Exodus 21 and verse 28. It says, if an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner shall be quit, meaning not held responsible for that, right? But on the contrary, in verse 29, it says, but if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, meaning he was goring people, right, like rhino, and it have been testified to his owner, and he have not kept him, but that he have killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner shall be put to death. So you see that? So in the context that, you didn't, it's like what they got with this like dog thing, man, with this like XL bully kind of thing, similar concept to it, really. How they have the XL bully, and if you've done everything really that you're supposed to, from my assessment, I don't this is my assessment of the British law that they have, right? They're gonna find it kind of hard to judge the matter, because you've done, like, you've chipped the animal's mute or whatever. There's certain things that they do to, like, allow the dog to be kept, but it's kind of humbled in that sense, because they'll cut off certain parts of his, like its genitalia. If that dog now goes and does a mad thing, you've done all that you can. But if that dog, you didn't put the like a chip or whatever, because they're supposed to have like a chip or whatever on them, right? You didn't do that, and then the dog is just doing a mad thing and it's bite, that dog's gonna get put down, right? They like they say they say they'll destroy it, right? They will destroy the dog, right? I don't know how they do it. If they put it in some furnace and they fry it, and they probably, right, they're gonna destroy the dog. Let's put it like that, right? However, whatever means that is, they'll do that. You're probably gonna face a charge as well because of your I don't want to say incompetence, but if you want to call that your negligence, that's the word, because of your negligence of not going by the certain rules. See that injection put to sleep? That's dark, man. That's dark, right? And I was saying, like I said, Tobit, he had a dog. Tobit had a dog, man, right? And that dog was he probably had that dog pattern, probably, right? Shalakia, and the dog might have come over, man, right? Kind of might have said, yeah, Kwame Ashrala, the dog might have barked as well, man, right? So there are rules for the accidental killings that may occur when it comes to the law we see in Numbers, just as much as you see in the British law today. And that really kind of shows it's the same foundation, really. Yeah, I've even forgot what verse I was at. Anyone remember what verse I was at? Right, I was in Numbers 34. I'll start from 15. Right, Numbers 34, and I'll start from 15, right? It says, these 6 cities shall be a refuge for both the children of Israel, and for the stranger, and for the sojourner among them, that everyone that killeth any person unawares may flee thither. And if he smite him with an iron, this is Numbers 35 and 16. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Right? And that's just plain, like, you know, that's when it says thou shalt not kill, that's not at unawares, right? Firstly, right? That's just, you're just a murderer. Right, and I'll read it in the KJV as well. It says Exodus 21 and 14. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. Right? So hey, that's that. Right? You done, that's intentional, right? And the contrary to what is unawares or unintentional. Right? Verse 17. And if he smite him with a throwing, see that? Verse 17. So it's Numbers 35 and 17. And if he smite him with throwing a stone wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Verse 18. Or if he smite him with an hand weapon of wood wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Verse 19. The revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer. When he meeteth him, he shall slay him. And it's kind of off, you know, our people today, they kind of have that kind of spirit in them, where, let's say, you know, they might have got down one of their friends or whatever. They kind of put themselves in that kind of spirit of being the revenger of blood, you know, and going out and trying to do it themselves, man. And obviously, you know, being Day of Atonement, you got to learn that you can't take matters into your own hands, man. And now you jeopardize your family, your children, your kids, these things, man. You have to learn forgiveness. And yes, it's hard, but you have to learn it. That makes you stronger on being able to deal with it and accept what has happened, rather than to react to it and say, no, we have to change this and we have to go and get my man. That's a Negro mindset, right? And niggatry. Oh yeah, get him down. Hey, you got 3 kids too. Who's gonna feed your kids? Right? This is Numbers chapter 35 and verse 20. But if he thrust him of hatred or hurl at him by laying of weight that he die, or in enmity smite him with his hand that he die, he that smote him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him. So if he caught you, right, he's going to deal with you, right? It says verse 22. But if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, or having cast upon him anything without lying of weight, or with any stone wherewith that, so like verse 23, or with any stone wherewith a man may die, seeing him not, and cast it upon him that he die, and was not his enemy, neither sought his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments. So there obviously has to be some that's judging the matter, and that's not a light matter, right? That's a weighty matter, that one there, right? It says verse 25, it says, and the congregation shall deliver the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood, and the congregation shall restore him to the city of his refuge, whither he was fled, and he shall abide in it until the death of the high priest, which was anointed with the holy oil. But if the slayer at any time cometh out the border of the city of his refuge, whither he was fled, and so if he steps outside, you know, there's a line, he kind of comes outside of there, and he's just chilling, he's just scratching his head, right? And it says, verse 27, and the revenger of blood find him without the borders of the city of his refuge, and the revenger of blood kill the slayer. He shall not be guilty of the blood, because he, as in that's the person that done the killing, and now the revenger of blood is after the guy that killed, that done the killing, right? Because verse 28, because he, the slayer, should have remained, not the revenger of blood, right? The slayer and the revenger of blood are two different things. The slayer is the one that's obviously killed the person. The revenger of blood is the person that's obviously seeking revenge for what has been done, right? It's verse 28. But because he should have remained in the city of his refuge until the death of the high priest, but after the death of the high priest, the slayer shall return into the land of his possession. So you kind of had a time. There was a timeline, right? You once that high priest, that's it. You got until that high priest, right, was died to do that, right? So, and that's there's order to that, right? It's not just how Jake's doing it. He's pulling up on this whatever these 125, right? He's pulling up on a 125 and he's shooting whatever out of the back of some pedal bike or whatever, man. Right? This is Numbers 35 and 29. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generation in all your dwellings. So even today, this would still apply, right? But again, there's no cities of refuge here, right? And they say, oh, where is it? Now people trying to find them, oh, where's the city of refuge in London, according to the Bible? You're trying to use ChatGPT to find it, so you can go and do a folly and think that Esau's not going to come knocking on your door, raiding your house, trying to find you and whatever it is that you got, because of, you know, you thought, yeah, I'm going to be the revenger of blood. I'm going to do it. Right? This society is no longer a theocracy, right? Meaning run by the divine laws of the Most High. It's run by a democracy, right? That's what they say, or socialist, or communist, whatever society is, right? Confusion, right, is what it is really, right? This is Numbers 35 and verse 30. Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. Because out of the mouth of, let's see if anyone knows. It should be easy, right? It should be easy, right? You can't, one witness is not enough. Obviously, you should have 2 or 3 witnesses, right? This is Numbers 35, and reading from verse 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer. Right, that's right. Just to come off it, that's right. Verse 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall surely be put to death. So even today, man, don't now you're trying to mourn for some guy that murdered that damn, I think a Mormon church was like burned up today or something, man. Right? I saw that recently. But I believe that was today, right? Mainly focusing on our people, man. You shouldn't, oh yeah, like, you know, don't be them Eves, man, that are beguiled by these Jakes, man, that go and commit folly and have, oh yeah, no, like, I understand him, like, he's not, like it says, don't, let me read it another translation, right? So there ain't no, like, there's an excuse or justification for it, right? This is Numbers 35. We read it in the Hebrew, right? Numbers 35 and 31. Ye are not to accept a ransom for the life of a murderer who deserves to die. Right? He must surely be put to death, man. Right? Excuse my language, right? Because that's confounding. Now he's going to say, no, I'll pay. Right? So, now he's saying, look, yeah, you can stay here. You're supposed to tell. Don't have the mindset, oh, well, I'm not going to say nothing. I didn't see it. Hey, Leviticus 5 and 1. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And you're looking all nervous. I didn't see it. I promise. Now you're making an oath. You're saying, oh, yeah, swear by so and so. You're off, right? Leviticus 5:1 tells you, hey, if you see something and you know it's off and you don't say nothing, you're off. Now you're saying, oh yeah, let them keep them guys that are, now you're saying, and with wisdom, right? Now you're saying, oh, you're pointing at everything. Yeah, these guys that are selling weed. Now you're telling the police, and you're standing outside. You're seeing the drug dealers, and you're pointing at them like this. Yeah, yeah, I can. And now they know who you are, right? And now you're wondering why you got a brick going through your window, and on the brick it's got a note saying, "We know what you've done." And your mom lives with you, right? So have wisdom, man, and discernment, right? And you're gonna have to bear the iniquity, like it says. Since you don't want, like the sister saying, so you don't want to come to, you know, you don't want to come to, you know, say what happened, and you, that's on you now, right? So this is Numbers 35 and verse 32. It says, and ye shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the high priest. Verse 33, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the blood cannot be cleansed of the land that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. See that? So this land, the world, is built upon the bloodshed of the children of Israel. So for it to be purified and cleansed, right? Revelation 13:10, man. Right? I'm not trying to rap or anything, but right, for it to be purified, hey man, that might have to be the slogan. For it to be purified and cleansed, Revelation 13:10. Right? And let the congregation say amen. Right? This is Numbers 35 and verse 34. It says, defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for I, the Lord, dwell among the children of Israel. Right? So all praise to the Most High. Right? We're on Numbers chapter 36, man. Right? Numbers 36. Right? So it's Numbers 36. I'm going to read from, I got a lot of highlighting to do, man, through these last pages, man. I'm probably going to go walk around, get some air, come back, man. Right? It may be another one, another live. Maybe around 3. Maybe around 3, there'll probably be another one. Right? And even for those in our congregation, they might, I'd say, there will be a link sent out for like 12, I said 12. A link sent out for 9, I'd say, 9 p.m. Right? 9 p.m. That's the time, I'd say, right? So this is Numbers chapter 36, chapter 36 rather, and verse number 36 and verse 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before the priests, and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel, and my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad our brother unto his daughters. And if it be, verse 3, and if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall the inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereinto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. So, you know, if let's say a father didn't have daughters, right, and then that daughter married some, because really it was, you would really marry within your own tribe. A Benjamite with a Benjamite, Naphtali with Naphtali, Gad with Gad, Asher with Asher, right? Dan with Dan, you would marry within your tribe. But let's say in the case that, they marry a Judite and a Benjamite, right? The inheritance that was passed down from the father, let's say if she I verse 2 again. I'll just read the last bit of it. It says the last clause, and my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad our brother unto his daughters. Right? So the inheritance is going to the daughters. That the inheritance that was from the brother that was given unto that brother's daughters would be given unto the tribe, to the man from whatever tribe she married, right? Which is an Israelite. So this is Numbers 36:4. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Right? So it says in verse 5, and Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph had said, well, this is the thing which the Lord doeth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their fathers. Of their fathers shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel move from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his father. Because again, really, your inheritance really was supposed to be within your own tribe, man. Right? I'm gonna get that in verse 6. Right? Right? Right, this is Numbers 36 and verse 7. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel move from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his father. Right? So even when we read verse 6, really, you got to keep it in, well, we understand now, people marry within the nation, but back then, hey, it's just straight, look, oh, that's a Gadite, you better find a Gadite. Oh, that's a whatever, you better find a what, you got to keep it like that, right? So this is Numbers 36 and verse number 8. It says, and every daughter that possess an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. So you're keeping the inheritance within where it's supposed to be kept. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. Right? See that? Even so, verse 10, Salakia. Even as the children commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahalah, Chisra, and Hoglah, and Meliah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad were married unto their father's brothers' sons. Right, and that's not incest. Wait, that's not incest. Oh, that's incest. Incest, really, right? And we'll pull it up in the definition. Oh, they say, oh, it's incest. Right? Incest goes, hold on. Right? Incest, really, right? And we'll get this in the archaic meaning. Right? Incest, not as what they say today, where it's the literal madness that they got going on, right? Really, See that now? I got to pull up. Yeah, I got it here. I think. Right, that word incest really goes back to within your own. Right, but I'm going to expound on that. Right. So, like, yeah. Let me find this one. So it says this, right? This is what it says, right? The word of incest really goes back to so I'm gonna read out. It says, if you like to use that word then as incest, as they say today, that's keeping it in their race, right? Etymologically speaking, in is equal to not, and cest goes back to the word castus, which means race, but not in the manner of perversion as we know today. The word incest is not a biblical word, neither is it a crime or a sin in every matter, because again, you would marry really someone. It's like a long distant cousin, if you want to say, because you'd marry within, I believe, if it's your brother, let's say let me give you an example. Let's say you got, let's say me and Tazapa, right? We're both from the tribe of I don't know, Judah, right? No, let's say we're both from the tribe of Asher, man, because everyone just says Judah, Benjamin, or Levi. What about he's from the tribe of Asher? And then, you have kids, right? He has kids, you have kids, right? Really, and you're from the same tribe. There's a potential that your children, would probably marry, you know. So, and that's an ancient man. It's not, oh, that's off, that's off. Well, Esau today does what he does, man. So, right, they got states where it's legal to be with your fleshly your near of kin, that's your sister, right? This is Numbers 36 verse 12. It says, and they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their family, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their family of their father. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Lord commanded Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. Right, so all praises to the Most High, man. Right, all praises to the Most High. Right, so that's that, man. Right, that's that. Lord willing, hey, everyone's having a mighty, enduring, man, and having a mighty, spiritual awakening, man, in this time, man. Really, but yeah, man. Probably be another call maybe at 3, right, p.m., which is the hour of prayer, and then go to something else, man. Lord willing. But hey, you praise to the Most High, right? About to say Shabbat Shalom. Shalom, everyone. Shalom.